Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1144, written by MamieJoJackson. The Bermuda Triangle of West Texas. Driving through West Texas, and on the left of the road, there was a small, abandoned mud brick house with an old, broken wagon wheel leaning on its front left corner. About a mile down the road, there was an abandoned mechanic shop with a rounded, rusty, corrugated tin garage behind it. We keep driving, and I feel like I'm losing it, because it's so flat and boring out there. Then I see a small building on the left of the road. It's a mud brick house, a broken wagon wheel and all. About a mile down the road, the exact same abandoned mechanic shop with the same exact rusty garage out back. We didn't get turned around, and I hadn't fallen asleep and gotten confused. I pointed out the repeated house and shop to my husband, and he had no idea what I was talking about. That was the first time he's seen them, and he really liked them because they were so classic looking. To this day, I swear to God, we accidentally drove through a kind of Bermuda Triangle thing in West Texas, and no one can tell me any different. Case notes for file 1144, the Bermuda Triangle of West Texas. So the fact your husband didn't notice the repeating pattern of mud brick houses and the mechanic shop could potentially be explained as him just being caught in attention elsewhere. As he's just a passenger, a driver would be much more focused on the road and surroundings just by default. So maybe he was in his mind and he just didn't notice it the first time around. If we go by that explanation for your husband, then it comes down to space-time portals while driving. Of course, the vector of transport was behind, opposite the direction of travel. These have to be placed intentionally, because if it was random, there's no way you'd have reappeared back on the road just, maybe a couple miles back. Why not anywhere else? Why not inside the crust of the earth, in deep space, or out in the wild desert landscape of West Texas? So why are they being placed? Because they have to be. There's no way this is just random. It's impossible. It feels like a test or experiment of some kind. Maybe aliens are using us as technological guinea pigs? Or maybe it's a government that has us? One way or another, there's some entity that is placing them, for some reason. As a test, I imagine. Case file number 1145, written by MC Freak 2013. Did I sleepwalk through an entire conversation? I worked as the instructor for the pit of my old school band during band camp. We always go to a university for a week and sleep in the dorms. When I was a student, I had a roommate to help wake me up in the mornings, but since I had already graduated and was considered an adult/teacher, I had a room to myself. On our last day of camp, I woke up at about 8:30 a.m. to one of the assistant directors banging on my door yelling for me to get up. I had set several alarms to wake me up at 5 a.m., then some at 6 in case I overslept those, and so on. My girlfriend even agreed to call me to make sure I wake up, because I can be such a deep sleeper sometimes. Well, I jump out of bed and throw some clothes on and run down to the field, having no time for a shower or breakfast since we started an hour ago. Before I left my room, I grabbed my phone, which should have been charging on the stand next to me. Instead, it was on the other side of the room with my bag that was already packed to go, which I don't remember packing the night before. My phone didn't light up when I hit the home button, but I was in too much of a hurry to worry about that at the time. When I got to the stadium, my girlfriend told me she called, and I answered and told her I was already going to the cafeteria building. I even replied to her text message when she asked if I was awake. I have never sleepwalked in my life, but that is the only explanation I have because I don't remember any of it. But sure enough, when I plugged my phone in, it was dead. I checked my messages and found we had a full conversation that I am completely unaware of. Again, all I can think of is sleepwalking. My room was locked and no one else had a way in. Case notes for file 1145. Did I sleepwalk through an entire conversation? So things like this tie into how our subconscious and conscious minds are interlaced and connected, but no, not always in perfect harmony. The player we are, the perception of reality, sentience, it's what makes life worth living and gives everything meaning. But it can be suppressed, perhaps even hijacked. In this case, probably just a suppression. No real reason to think to hack your body or possess it, just to pack your bag and talk to your girlfriend. Wouldn't really make sense. But that it can be hacked or possessed, so to speak. is both terrifying and incredibly interesting. I just hope it doesn't happen to me. Bonus file written by Jody Highroller 1. A doctor's brush with the supernatural. My uncle is a general surgeon in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and one time he told me the creepiest story I've ever heard. He was an intern working in the ER late one night, working with another team of doctors working to keep this elderly man alive. He had a surprising amount of hair for a man his age and had big bushy white eyebrows, but he was on his last legs, slowly dying, holding on to life. The old man was having a very serious heart attack, and the doctors were in a frenzy to assist this man, just when another immediate call came in. A couple teenagers were driving around Winnipeg, intoxicated I'm sure, and they crashed into a guardrail. It was a very serious crash. The driver and person in the shotgun didn't make it, but a girl sitting right behind the driver's seat made it out alive but in critical condition. She as well was hanging on to life. The girl rushed into the ER, and my uncle was told to leave his station with the old man because his hopes were dwindling every minute. The moment the girl entered the ER, most of the attention was directed to her. There was a lot of blood she was losing. A lot of blood, my uncle said, and went into a coma for about 10 minutes. And within that time, he was told to leave the girl. They didn't need him anymore. So he went back to the old man, and he had died. This is where it gets weird. The next day, the girl was in stable condition. It was quite miraculous, he told me. My uncle went to talk to this girl, and for some reason, he didn't know why, he just felt like asking her what it was like to be in the coma. And she told him, "It was weird. I was in this vast, open, infinite dark space except for the speck of light far, far away. And as I walked around, I saw an old man sitting on a bench. I went over to him, and all he said to me was that it wasn't my time and to turn around. So I did. Then I woke up in this room to lots of doctors." My uncle was taken aback and then asked what this old man looked like. And she said, he had white hair, but big eyebrows. That's all I can really remember. His big white eyebrows. This story has always stuck with me. Case notes for the bonus file. A doctor's brush with the supernatural. Wow, is all I can describe this story as. The white light. It's so pervasive in folktales, lore, religion, everywhere. Is it the bridge between our consciousness and subconscious? So you're dying, trapped in your subconscious. The infinite darkness shutting down. You're dying, basically, representing that. But there's one hope left, to reconnect your soul to your body in the white light. Maybe this is even like the transition point for quantum immortality. Maybe it is a choice we make. It doesn't happen automatically. It's just happening in our subconscious and we don't always remember this. And the man who had died was aware of a soul so close to permanently disconnecting and helped her out. The old man in her dreams with the great bushy eyebrows. It's a kind of beautiful thought to me. And now time for the quote of the day. To the soul, there is hardly anything more healing than friendship. Thomas More. Yeah, it's those connections we make that make everything worth living. It's sentient. It's connecting with other sentient players. And I come to this thought all the time when I'm playing video games. I have a lot of trouble to play single-player games. Like, the story can be interesting, but I'd rather just watch a movie. If I'm playing a game or some contest just against a computer that is inanimate, non-thinking, not truly there, I lose interest. My only interest is in playing games against other players or with other players cooperatively. Then there's meaning to it. There's meaning to the experience. We assign meaning, sure, but it's still real as we are, and I think we're pretty real. And even if you're introverted like me, it's that they're there that matters. Like, same thing in playing an MMORPG. I'm not always in a group, but just knowing that there's a world out there with real people that's persistent means everything. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.